this is the framework you need to take note of. There are concentric circles to this framework, and I call them the 7 domain wellness simply because there are 7 parts to it that maps your life. Yeah, this is actually not new. The original developer, Mortimer Adler, who was a philosopher coach and was first invited to the 1963 MDRT Financial Services Industry. The MDRT is the $1 Million Roundtable Conference every year. He postulated this to all the financial agents. He says, guys, you're not just in financial health or wellness, you are into the whole person concept. And that was when he first mooted the idea that if you really want to see someone successful, it cannot just be finances or professional career. The other areas of his life constitute to a comprehensive understanding of what wellness is. Anyway, this is an adapted version. I think he presented a 6 domain, but mine is a 7 domain. Anyway, let's start off with this. We all begin with the center. So what's the center? The center really is the spiritual part of us. Now, hang on, when I say spiritual, I don't mean your faith, I don't mean what religion you are, although it encompasses that because it's very, existential. What I actually mean is the question we all need to ask, which is, why do I exist for? What is the meaning and the purpose of your life? We only have one life. How do we make sense of this domain of ours? So if you can't answer that and we only have one life, how will you lead it? Obviously, mindlessly and without intent, right? So I always help my clients to start looking at these pieces. Now, at the risk of oversimplifying this tonight, because I only got 10-15 minutes, I'm just keeping it at the surface level and just presenting the key areas. Later on, at the end of this session, those of you who need a proper assessment, a deep dive, or you even need a hand-holding, coaching, or counseling, we will offer something for you. I want to talk about how this centerpiece radiates out to the other 3 dimensions. They are still in the inner circle, and obviously for many of us who understand fitness or wellness, we understand body, mind, and spirit, or body, mind, and emotions in this case, B, M, and E. Right? Body simply means your physical health, your fitness level, etc. Your lifestyle, the way you sleep, what you eat, your diet, whether you're on medication, what are the issues or ailments that you might be facing. So that will be body. Mind, obviously, is your mental faculties, your mental domain, or your mental state. So, from a personal developmental point of view, it also constitutes to how you are developing your mind. As you all know, the future state of being actually has to do with how we create. And so your mental faculties help you create the future, right? So how are you feeding your mind? What books are you reading? What courses are you taking? How are you educating yourself? E would be your emotional state or your emotional domain. And emotions, as we all know, they either serve us, sometimes they're up, they're down. But how do you regulate your emotions? Are you constantly angry, for example? Are you constantly in fear? In fear of what? If you come in as my client, these are questions I will ask you. I have a suite of questionnaires, a survey where you take, and then we will be able to assess whether they are constructive, whether they're serving you, whether there are underlying emotions as well, whether there are trauma-infused triggers that trigger you emotionally, right? So body, mind, and emotions. But they can only emanate and radiate out from that spiritual question that you need to ask yourself, which is, why do I exist here on this earth? I think what's more important for many of us in a practical sense is the outer ring, R, B, and C, and they represent your relational domain, your vocational domain, and your contributional domain. Now, if you take care of your inner ring or your inner game, these other 3 outer aspects of your life would be, there'll be a higher chance that they are more manageable. Let's start with relational. Relational will be your interpersonal relationships with loved ones, family, peers, colleagues, and in itself, it's a separate wheel or domain all on its own, where concentric wise, there will be a flow of who are the important people in your life, as well as those who are just friends and acquaintances. Each one can be measured and each one can be improved. Let's go to V, vocational. When I say vocational, I don't mean just your career, I mean your financial health, how you build your wealth for the future. Vocational could also be your occupation, right? Or your business, whether you're freelancing or whatever. So this whole domain in and of itself talks about your financial health and also how you're going to make a difference in terms of what you do in your work, in your occupation. This sometimes, for many of us, links closely to the last domain, C, contributional domain. And this is what I mean by giving back to society. Now, you can do well in all the other domains, but if you miss out C, you're not going to live life with fulfillment, because life is meant to be like a river. Water in, water out, thereby constituting to a flow. So you're living with a kind of flow. Yeah, a good river flows, it's not stagnant. It doesn't become like a dead sea. So as you give out and you bless other people, either through volunteerism, giving of your finance, or tithing, some kind of a 10% kind of structure, whatever the system or framework that you have, you are making sure that at a spiritual level, so it reconnects back to your spiritual meaning of life, you are living with a life with purpose. You're giving to other people. And philosophically, whatever you give out always returns back to you. So as a philosopher, as a principle, even if you don't believe in the Bible, the principle holds true universally. It's more blessed to give than to receive. Okay, so when you give, you actually find fulfillment and joy and purpose. So guys, I just wanted to keep this quite short. This is the 7 domain wellness framework.